Well, g'day everybody, and welcome out to Chiefs Island in the Okavango Delta. I've been living out here for a very, very, very long time. I've been flying my R44 and doing a lot of like tourist flights and stuff like that out in this area. Transferring some tourists around, doing some sort of some wildlife park duties and stuff, which is what we're actually doing now. It was actually over the other side of this. There was a carcass that one of the rangers found. So we just need to go down there and see if it's actually still there or whether it's been dragged into the water or something. So we're going to check that out. But yeah, we've been doing tourist work and doing helicopter tours and stuff like that in this leased R44. Unfortunately, with COVID and all of that type of stuff, there we go. What have we got down there? Unfortunately, with COVID and all of that stuff, then yeah, the tourism industry has completely and utterly died. But there is a lot of cargo and a lot of people that do need to be moved around. So I've invested. I've taken my savings, which was about 190 grand I had saved, and I have invested that in purchasing a second-hand Kodiak. That's a rhino down there. Okay, yeah, purchasing myself a second-hand Kodiak. I'm going to use the Kodiak to run some jobs, run some cargo jobs and some people and stuff. It's quite a nice configuration, actually. It's a very nice configuration, to be honest. It's currently down at Morn Airport, so we need to go down there and do that. I just wanted to double check and see whether this carcass was down here or not. Before I left, so I need to report that to the Rangers. So we're just going to check that out. We're going to head back. As I said, I've been living out here for quite a few years, and it's such a beautiful place. It is such a beautiful place, but sometimes you've got to sort of make decisions. You know, with hardly any tourists coming into the camp. I mean, we're starting to see them come in again now. But I really need to start making money, so we're going to be doing some missionary jobs and a lot of bush flying, around Botswana, and try and make ourselves a little bit of money. Probably do some. We'll probably get into doing some helicopter tours and some tourist stuff again as well, which will be quite fun. But at the moment, there's just not enough in it, so we really need to. I really need to do something else. So our Kodiak is down at Morm. We need to go down and pick that up. I've already organised a job as well to bring some people back to Chiefs Island. I think we've got some passengers and a little bit of cargo to bring back. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, I had training in the Kodiak, so we should be okay. We should be okay with that. But yeah, that carcass wasn't there, so. We're going to head back to camp, and I'm going to land up when we get back to camp. I'll show you where I live. It's actually really, really nice out here. There's animals everywhere. absolutely everywhere down there. It's really nice to see. Since COVID, and a lot of the these are the watering holes. These flood, and when they flood, all of the animals come in here. Hence the reason why there's been a resort built at Chiefs Island. But with the lack of people coming through and the lack of safaris that have been going out and stuff for the last few years, then the animals, we're actually starting to get even more animals here, which is actually pretty cool. So this is the camp just in front of us. It's nestled in amongst the scenery and the landscape. So when they built this resort, then they did try and sort of blend it in as much as they possibly could. And we actually do get animals. We actually do get a lot of animals coming in here to feed in this main waterhole. So as you will probably see when we come down, we're getting giraffes at the moment. We're getting a lot of elephants come through. There we go. We've got some giraffes. We've got some giraffes just down there. There's some giraffes just down there. Look. So pretty close to the resort buildings. Very, very close to the resort buildings. I don't want to go too close to those elephants. So we've got a pile of elephants down there. Main resort building down there. And as you can see, it is sort of... it is spread out through here. It is spread out through here, but it's a oh wow, we've got a lot of elephants. We've got some babies down there as well. Check that out. Perfect. But there is a lot of there's a lot of animals coming through now as well, which is absolutely amazing. So we're going to do our I'm going to start doing. I've been a bush pilot for quite a long time. But obviously, you know, a lot of my flying has been done in the R44, so we're going to we're actually going to start flying the Kodiak and seeing what sort of jobs we can do. Now, it was a massive investment. I had to take out a 700 and I think it was 760,000 loan, which I've actually. I've actually sort of a little bit worried about it. But we should be okay. My payments are going to be about $5,000 a week, so we need to. I really need to sort of get my butt into gear. I've already put the feelers out. I know a lot of people out in the Delta and stuff, which is really, really good. So we should be okay. I've also gathered some contacts and stuff for some jobs and some cargo running and stuff, which is also going to be good. Now I need to bring this down here. The problem with the R44 is it's a little bit hard to don't there we go. That should be okay. All right, well, we'll park this up here, and I've got an aircraft coming into Chiefs Island Airport to pick me up. They are going to pick me up and let's get that off there. They're going to pick me up and fly me down to Morn. So that should be okay. We should be good. I'll shut this down and I'll see you guys when we're at Morn. Okay, here we are. Hotel Whiskey Lima. What a beautiful aircraft it is. I hope she runs as well as she should. It's in pretty good condition. Cost me second hand around about, I think, 720 something thousand, 725 grand. So that's a lot of stuff. But what we're going to do is I'm going to get in here and we're going to load up, and we're going to load up some passengers and stuff, and we're going to take them out to Chiefs Island. So I'll see you in the cockpit, guys. Okay, lovely. Let's get this thing fired up. Now, I did do a part of purchasing the aircraft was a little bit of refreshment training on flying it, so we should be okay. For those of you that don't know the Kodiak, it's a pretty incredible aircraft. Great short takeoff and landing capabilities. Might just go down here and pull this fuse down here. It's an incredible aircraft, so it should be good for what we're doing, especially for our bush piloting. Let's get down there. Turn that off. Bring that down. That's the firewall. Let's turn the batteries on. Avionics bus. The auxiliary. Whoop, there we go. Lovely. Turn him on as well. Alright, let's check that all this is working. Yes, that is working. Yep, our fuel conditioning lever is working. Our throttle is not having a good time. There we go. Lovely. Perfect. Alright, sweet. We are almost ready to start this up. I'm just going to throw our direct flight plan in. Actually, I might actually tune to the ATIS here as well before we decide to take off. Let's check what's going on with the weather. My METAR report shows that we've got wind at 170 at 6 knot. At 10, 179er. Alright, lovely. 3021. Runway 26. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so we'll be leaving from runway 26. All right, let's do a flight plan. Let's actually get out of that. Clear. All right, let's no, we don't want to do that. We want to do a flight plan. All right, lovely. So we are going to be flying from. We're going to be flying from Morn, which is where we are, which is FBMN. FBMN, magnificent piece of equipment. This one for doing bush flying. Runway, we are taking off from runway 26. Let's throw that in there. That's beautiful. And we'll have no en route. We're heading direct. So there we go. We're heading direct to Foxtrot Bravo November Alpha. Foxtrot. Whoa. There we go. Let's try that again. Foxtrot Bravo November Alpha, which is Chiefs Island. Chiefs Island. Now that's the one that we are going to. Let's confirm that. Okay, and we don't know what. Well, I reckon we're probably going to be landing on, I would say, runway 14, I would say. So let's select that and enter that. All right, flight plan is done. Flight plan is in. Let's get this aircraft all fired up. Let's see. Okay, fuel pumps on, ignition on, starter on, beacon on. Let's get this fired up. Once we've settled down, we're at about 20%. Let's bring in some fuel conditioning. Lovely. Let him fire up. Generators. We'll just let everything settle down there a little bit. Lovely. Lovely. So we've got 4 passengers on board, and we also have 694 pounds of cargo. We've actually got 3 passengers on board. My apologies, and we've got 694 pounds of cargo, which should be a pretty easy flight today. Pretty easy flight, relatively good conditions. Let's just close this up so that we don't annoy everybody. Make sure that that is locked. Make sure that that is locked and closed as well. Let's put on some strobes, navs. Taxi lights on. Let's bring our generators down. There we go, and we'll bring that into standby, our fuel. All right, we're going to trim the rudder to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is what I find is about okay. You can see the rudder mark there. Trim to the right for takeoff. That should be okay. We're going to trim the aircraft nose down for takeoff as well, which is a bit of a requirement. We've got 14 degrees out there, so there's no need for pitot at this point in time, although we're probably getting pretty close. It is relatively cold at this time of year. We will do a flight level change. We will be flying at, we'll be climbing out at approximately 101 knots, which is pretty optimal for this aircraft, so I'll throw that in there. And as you can see, we've got 101 knots sitting on there. All right, our altitude, the airport is at 3,080. There we go, airport's 3,080. Our altimeter has been set. We'll be flying to 4,500 or 4,600 on the altimeter for about a 1,500 altitude above ground. That is all okay. Let's go back into the transponder there. Lovely. Okay, so we've got the GPS set. This is going to be a VFR flight. We've got our pressure and altitude settings there for our engine torque at 2,700. So we're going to be going 2 stages of flaps for takeoff as per usual in this aircraft. Everything else is okay and ready to go. Don't need to bother about the oxygen. I wonder whether the previous owner filled it up, and they did. Perfect. Lovely. All right, we should be okay. Let's request our VFR clearance for a north departure.
Ground Alpha 2 Hotel Whiskey Lima with Echo request taxi for takeoff north departure. Alpha 2 Hotel Whiskey Lima taxi to and hold short of runway 26 using taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 126.0 when ready.
Okay, lovely.
Taxiing hold short runway 26 using taxiway Alpha Hotel Whiskey Lima.
So there's our runway 26 down there. We will be spinning around and coming out here and running along here to runway 26. We'll be doing a U-turn and then turning right. There we go. Lovely. We've got some other aircraft there. All right, we are ready to go. Let's get this aircraft running. Everything else is okay. Looks like it is. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's get this little beast moving. Now, it's really important when you're flying the Kodiak that you do have the nose trimmed down slightly. I usually trim it to where that line is about there, and to also have some right rudder trim on for takeoff, or otherwise you get a considerably unstable takeoff. So especially when you sort of lift off, you still get a pretty unstable one. It is a very temperamental aircraft to fly, but with its stall capabilities, it is absolute, and its ability for weight carrying and stuff like that, it is actually quite a good aircraft. As I said, I went for a passenger and cargo configuration, so we've got 5 seats in. And we have enough room for cargo as well. We also have a cargo pod on the bottom, so it should be good. You will see a few Kodiaks around here, a few Cessnas and stuff like that. Okie dokie, lovely. All right, so we're gonna throw in 2 stages of flaps. We're gonna go down to 20%. There we go, 20% is set. The aircraft, while we're taxiing, is going to want to taxi to the right because of the rudder trim, but we'll keep counteracting that. There's a beautiful Islander there. What a lovely Islander. I've flown one of those. Beautiful plane to fly. Okay, so we'll be taking off. We'll be climbing to 4,600. On takeoff, we will be doing a right. We'll be climbing out to 500 feet above, which is about 3,500 on our on our gauges. We will be doing a right turn at about 500, and we will get into a climb. We are only climbing to 4,600 feet, which isn't very much at all, so it won't take us long to get to the top of our climb. Once we're there, we'll stable the aircraft, taking off with 2,200 on the RPMs, and a torque of around about 1,600. We'll monitor the gauges on the way out. Everything else is okay. We need to I need to lock the harnesses. Harnesses are locked. Everything else is looking good. Our outside air temperature is still 14 degrees, so that's okay. Usually sort of below 10, maybe 8, 6 degrees. We might want to put that on. And we've got plenty of runway. We've got plenty of runway to take off. Probably this taxiway. We might move to the next taxiway. Other than my little refresher course, I'm flying the Kodiak. Then I might just give myself a little bit more runway space for now. So we're not expecting too much in regards to weather, as you can see. We are in Botswana. Weather here is usually pretty fine. Usually a little bit warmer than it is today, but that's okay. So we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a lot of missionary and medical flights. We will also be running people and cargo around. So we might move through here. I do apologise. I do have the flu, and so I am getting a little bit croaky. Let's tune to tower, and we'll stop the aircraft here. And we'll request our takeoff clearance.
Tower Alpha 2 Hotel Whiskey Lima at runway 26 ready for departure to the north.
Okay, conditioning to maximum RPM and max prop for takeoff. I like to bring my prop down just a little bit, just to avoid any redlining when we take off. So there's our takeoff clearance. Hotel Whiskey Lima. Okay, flaps set for at 20 degrees. Rudder trim is set. Taxi lights off. Landing lights on. Don't need any. We might put the air conditioning on now, actually. I normally leave this for takeoff. We'll set for after takeoff, but we will set... we'll set our temperature to 23 for cabin and passengers. Passengers are a little bit cold at the moment. Okay, doors are locked. Everything is ready to go. Let's get this aircraft in the air, guys. For our first flight now. Let's just spin around here, and we will line up for a 26 departure. And there she goes. Lovely. Just going to bring her to a little bit of a halt there. That is good. All right, so 75% on the throttle. And brakes off. Got 1,250 on the torque there. That is good. Just a little bit of the aircraft is trying to pull to the left. We've got airspeed. So full throttle. Bring the throttle back a bit, about 1790, and we should be able to rotate at 60, 65. Let's rotate, and off we go. Off we go. Perfect. All right, got to climb out initially at about 70, 75 knots. For our initial climb out. Going to also bring up the flaps now as well.
Hotel Whiskey Lima, continue for north departure.
Let's acknowledge that. Okay, lovely. Okay, I'm going to sync my heading bug. Heading bug is synced. Let's throw on heading. We've got FLC, and let's throw the autopilot on. And we will let this beast climb us up to 4,600. We'll let everything settle. Let everything settle. Get the aircraft. Keep my hands on the controls just to until everything settles. So we'll climb out at about 101 knots, and we're going to do a right turn and intercept our track. Okay, I'm going to bring my prop up a little bit so that we're climbing out at 2,200 on the RPM. We'll line ourselves up with about a 45 intercept to the GPS track. There we go. We're a little bit high on our NG there, so I usually leave that around about the 100. 1650. We're at 22. We'd probably bring that up, but today it's all right. We would normally, if we're doing a large climb, we would normally climb out at about 2,200 on the RPM. I'm going to bring that down now so that we cruise at about 2,000 RPM. And I'm going to bring the throttle down a little bit as well. So around about 2,000, maybe for a nice quiet cruise, maybe 2,010 on that. And we should have a nice quiet cruise heading out to our destination. So in case you're wondering what my Of course.
Tower Alpha 2 Hotel Whiskey Lima frequency change. On approach Alpha 2 Hotel Whiskey Lima is type 5 miles northwest of Mon, 4,600 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace. Alpha 2 Hotel Whiskey Lima on approach. Squawk 0422.
0422 on squawk and altitude.
Hotel Whiskey Lima radar contact 6 miles north of Mon, 4,600 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Maintain own navigation.
All right, lovely.
Cleared through the Charlie airspace, Hotel Whiskey Lima.
With all that stuff out of the way, my company name, and it has been for a while out here, is Kaimani, which basically means adventurous traveller. We've been doing that for with my helicopter flights and stuff like that. So I've obviously carried that through as a business into purchasing this Kodiak and stuff. The Okavango Delta is, as you can see, a relatively, there's not a lot of we've got some rivers and creeks and stuff during the wet season and stuff, but there is not a lot of VFR waypoints or anything like that. So it is a bit of an interesting area to fly. A very, very interesting area to fly. I was getting distracted there and I lost my waypoint. But it's beautiful out here. A lot of you get a lot of variation on airstrips and stuff. So you can get some really tough airstrips to land at. Bumpiness wise, we got gravel, we've got dirt, we've got compressed gravel, we've got concrete. There is a lot of stuff out here, but we will be landing at a lot of airports that or airstrips that are interesting to land at as well. A lot of camps and stuff out here. They do a lot of it. It's a big safari area, so it usually relies a lot on tourism and safari tourism. As I said, we're starting to get more people coming through for tourism, which is really, really good. But there has been quite a few years of not much going on. So there's been a lot of supplies and stuff that we've needed to run out to places. And I figure now that tourism's coming back, I figure that we'll probably be lucky enough to cash in on that a little bit. Now, as I said, my repayments for this aircraft are around about just under 6,000 a month. So we do have a considerable amount of money that we're going to need to continue to earn. So it's going to be a battle, but we will get there. All right, beautiful. Everything is looking absolutely fabulous. We will continue to monitor the aircraft. If you sometimes they're a little bit hard to spot, but there are being a reserve, there are a lot of animals and stuff out here. So, including apparently an elusive white rhino. So if we can find that, then I would be very, very happy. Very, very happy. I've only seen one rhino around our camp lately. But I'm sure that more will start coming in again as well. So the rhino is obviously a pretty endangered species. So we want to make sure that around the area of Chiefs Island and around the Okavango Delta that we do try and look after the rhinos. Oh well, all the animals obviously. So, but yeah, I hope you're going to enjoy these vlogs and enjoy bush flying in Botswana. We'll probably be doing some flights down to South Africa.
Hotel Whiskey Lima, you are leaving my airspace radar service. Terminated squawk 7000.
No worries.
Change approved.
7000 code 7000.
Squawk 7000. Frequency change approved. Hotel Whiskey Lima.
Okay, we are going to we're not going to contact Garborne Centre, or we should contact Garborne Centre, shouldn't we?
Gaborone Center Alpha 2 Hotel Whiskey Lima is type 5 miles southwest of Foxtrot Bravo Mike Romeo 4,600 feet. Request flight following.
Alpha 2 Hotel Whiskey Lima Gaborone Center. Squawk 1107.
1107, continually changing. 1107.
Hotel Whiskey Lima radar contact 5 miles southwest of Foxtrot Bravo Mike Romeo 4,600 feet. Altimeter 30.21.
3021.
Roger Hotel Whiskey Lima.
Everything is good there. All right, we are about 25 nautical miles out, and we'll be landing on runway. We will be landing on runway 14. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up for that landing on runway 14. We are going to have to do as we do in bush flying. We're going to have to do a flyover. We do occasionally get animals. Obviously on the runway and stuff, so we do need to be really, really careful of that. So, excuse me, sorry guys. We've got a tailwind at the moment of 24 knots at 150, so I'm going to turn the heading bug around to 140 for a. There we go, lovely. Just to give us a bit of an idea on which way the runway is running. You probably spot airstrips and stuff. There are airstrips spread all over the place out here, so It's a beautiful place to fly. It's a beautiful place to fly. Yes, it's flat, but the interesting stuff that you do find, it does start getting a little bit less flat as we sort of head out to the north and over to the northeast as well. So we'll probably see that on a lot of jobs that we do. You guys will see that anyway. Okay, everything's going really, really well. Our RPM's at 1980. That's not too bad. We're sitting and cruising at about 163 knots. This thing will cruise at about 173, but we don't need to bother about that. She's a very temperamental aircraft to land as well, so. You want to land her with full flaps. And touchdown at around about 65 knots with an approach of around 70 to 75 knots. So we're passing Zigzaba Airport on the left over there. You can kind of just make out the strip over there. There is a camp out there and some safari stuff, so we'll probably end up being over there at some point in time. Not a lot of places to land if we get ourselves into strife. You need to find areas like that you can land on that are relatively dry. It is pretty wet around here, so you do need to be very, very careful indeed. In regards to, like, we couldn't land over there. It's a little bit too rough. There's quite a lot of moisture over there as well, so. So yeah, flying, always looking for places to land in case we get into any strife. The aircraft that we have bought, this Kodiak 100, actually has Tundra tyres, which is really good. So it gives us a little bit of that flotation on the runway and stuff, which is fantastic. So we were lucky enough to have that. If I had purchased it without Tundra tyres, I probably would have put them on, I reckon. All right, looks like our passengers are relatively happy. Got Chuck Norris sitting there. Hello, ma'am. How you doing? I don't know where our third passenger's gone, but anyway, they're there somewhere. All right, beautiful. We're about 9 nautical miles out now, 9 or 10 nautical miles out. I'm going to start slowing the aircraft down. One thing with the Kodiak is that you need to make sure that you do not throttle really, really quickly, especially when you're coming into land, because it tends to throw the aircraft to the left and wants to drop the left wing and spiral you into the ground. So you do need to be super, super careful of that. Super careful. But again, quite a good aircraft to fly, and really, really good for the type of bush strips and stuff that we're going to be going into. Okay, we're in flap range now. I won't bring any flaps in until we start getting a little bit closer. We'll bring in one stage of flaps when we're about a nautical, 1 or 2 nautical miles out. Once we do a runway check and do a runway flyover, we will, which I will be doing probably just to the left of the runway at a relatively low altitude, just so that we can spot any animals there. We will put down another stage of flaps to 20 degrees, and then once we get on final for the runway, we will actually put in our last stage of flaps for a landing. It's going to bring our altitude down to about 4,100 feet in a vertical speed, and drop that. We don't need to drop too much. And you can see the runway just off our nose there, I think it is. Alright, autopilot is going off, and we are going to fly this beast manually. And bring in a stage of flaps already. And we'll see what we've got. We'll see what we have runway wise. Make sure that there's no elephants. Everything's looking good. Can't see any animals down there. Yep, no, we're looking good. Chiefs, Hotel Whiskey Lima, downwind. Okay, let's get this little beast up. So we've got full prop. And slow the aircraft down a little. Lose a little bit of altitude. Bring in another stage of flaps, and as I said, we'll bring in the final stage on final. Okay, trim the aircraft up a little bit.
Wind 160 at 13 knots.
A little bit of power. Probably a little bit more power than that Simi. You can see that the aircraft, when you throw power in, wants to really throw the aircraft to the left. All right, we're going to bring down our last stage of flaps. Bring some power down. Going a little bit slow there on our turn. A little bit fast on our approach. Really want to be approaching it, but we do have a fair bit of runway, so we should be all right. In we go, over the trucks. Over the trees. And straight in.
Landing time log.
Okay, lovely. Lovely, 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 lovely. Let's just get around here. And one of the beautiful things about the Kodiak is it turns on a dime. It turns on a dime. A little bit embarrassed about the semi-stall down there on our way down. But it is what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's take that off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chiefs Island. This is going to be my base of operations. Well, it has to be my base of operations. I live just over there in the resort, so. Okay, we might park in North Parking. I don't think there's anybody over there. No, doesn't look like there is. So we'll park in North Parking there. Looks like they've got the Jeeps over there to take everybody to the resort, which is good. Let's bring this aircraft in. There we go. Yep, they've got the Jeeps here. Lovely. All right, well organised. We can get some fuel here as well if we need to. And let's spin this aircraft around. There we go. Perfect. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, fuel condition down. Everything else is okay. Let's cut that.
Engine off time logged. The flight is finished. It has been monitored by OnAir.
We'll turn our taxi lights down. Perfect. Let that spool down. Okay, taxi lights. Oh no, sorry. Nav lights off. Strobe lights off. We'll leave the beacon on until that prop slows itself down. There we go. Perfect. Okay, beacon off. Lovely. Let's throw that up there. Let's throw the fuel off. Perfect. And off, off, off. Lovely. Well, there you go, guys. There is that is our first flight. Our first flight in our brand new. Well, it's not brand new; it's second hand, but in our Kodiak. So, we just bring my PDA up here so that we can register this job. Landed at 75 knots, which is not good. It's a little bit too fast, but that's good. All right, there we go. Lovely. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I will see you guys when we do our next bush flight as well. We're sitting on 256 thou at the moment, but we do have a $700,000 loan if we go into here. Let's have a look. There we go. We do have a $760,000 loan. The issue that I have with the loan is that you cannot pay the loan off in increments. So, like if I had the spare, I've got the spare 200,000. I can't actually pay that off. But there you go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time when we do some more flying around the Okavango Delta and Africa in this bush flying series. Thanks for watching. Bye.